Right. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I hope you can see my screen as well.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the second session and CCS 2301 Business Analysis and System Design. Last session, we discussed how we conduct the course, and today it's a continuation. So let me briefly go through what we have discussed last time. Okay, two recommended texts for the module is on information system analysis and design and system analysis and design. The 11th edition by Rosenberg. So that's usually what I have used for all my notes. So those who are interested, you can have a look at it. And what we aim for this is to provide you the principles and the techniques used in system analysis and design to solve real world business problems, and especially in how to develop an information system to solve a real world problem. So we'll go through each of the different software development life cycles, starting from planning, requirements, modeling, design, and implementation, and finally maintenance. So that's the aim of the module. And once you complete the module, we'll assume that you will have a good understanding about the role of business analyst. And I hope some of you might work, as business analysis, which you need to understand how the development cycle works. The second learning outcome is software development projects, which is crucial in the management from starting point to how you may schedule different phases, the timing. So you will, once you finish this module, you will have a good understanding how the software project might, managed. Then we will also look at how to capture the functional and non-functional requirements and getting different information from different audiences, especially in the very first stage. Then you should also get familiar with different modeling tools which we use in software development. Data flow diagrams, UML diagrams, business process modeling notations, ER diagrams. These are some of the modeling techniques we are going to discuss in the module. And finally, applying system design and implementation techniques, how we might develop or acquire the systems, how do you build it, how do you maintain it. So these are the learning outcomes we are planning to cover in this module. Right. Assessment, I told you, like the marks distribution for this module is like 20% marks coming from your group works, which I'm going to have one today. And then from mid-semester 30 and in 50. Right. So we discussed last time what has happened over the years recording attendance in employees. So from punching cards to nowadays the latest ones, we have even face recognition, fingerprint scanning, even iris scanning is available, and also like mobile based employee tracking also in place. And this is how the technology has used in different organization level. And under that, we discuss what IT is and what system analysis and design is. Basically, it will process of developing information system. And under that, we will discuss various essential components in IT, which are hardware, software, data, processors, and people. So when we look at the business today, we notice that there are three major trends you can observe. One is increasing globalization with all the technological changes. Technology integration is there, also like cloud-based computing. So has changed a lot in how businesses operate nowadays compared to traditional businesses. So business modeling is very, very important. But to understand the business modeling, we first need to understand what a business profile is. Any organization, you have to have a set of missions and vision about a company. There will be a set of functions. There'll be an organization. There'll be a set of products, services, and you have a set of customers, suppliers, competitors, constraints, and future direction. So this is an overview of everything. We call it business profile. Now, for example, what I told you is about business profile for our university. I told you like as a private organization, we discuss, we want to promote innovation through research. So that's why we have a tagline, SLTC, Research University. So by saying so, we have different functions. Now we have a faculty of postgraduate studies because we want to encourage research in the university. So in the organization also we have that. So you can see, so depend on our company's mission, we come up with various functions, organizations, products, services, and so on. So everything actually put it together. So any organization, you can look at their business profile to understand overall business operation. Now, each and every businesses, you have business processes. Simply, they are a set of transactions or the events. So, for example, even in our university environment, I told you, you will be within the university 4 years time, and 4 years time, you will acquire knowledge, skills, attitudes, which you need to have once you get out from this as an IT graduate, right? So all these are very important to handle it. Right. So we will use different types of information system in place. If you're using a one single information system everywhere, this is called enterprise computing system, which will cover, company-wide operations. And usually, some of the big organizations, usually they have what we call the ERP systems. Then you have a software system called transaction processing, which records day-to-day operations. Things like, for example, employee attendance, lecture attendance, and so on. So these comes under day-to-day operations. We need some software to handle those as well. So those systems comes under transaction process systems. Then we need business support systems, job-related information support. So depend on the role, you need like different information. Sometimes we want to know like how many students are now enrolled in IT and how many are in data science, for example. So those are important for, let's say, the managerial level decisions. So if a system supports in that manner, then system can be classified as a business support system. Then knowledge management system, a large database of knowledge base that allow users to find information by entering keywords or questions, normal English phrases. Things like information system for doctors and as well as lawyers, because they need to refer large data regarding different diseases, the problems, and even for lawyers like the law cases and so on. So which will be very helpful. Finally, in the lower level, we could also have things called user productivity system, like operate office packages, and email and fax, web conference systems. They are comes at improving user level operations, so user productivity. We call it user productivity systems, right? So I told you, like, one of the aspects of this module is mapping or use of graphical tools to explain your top management about different aspects of the organization. So here is a simple example. This is called a business process model, or BPM, which shows you graphically shows you the one of the business processes. So what happens here is, this is called order processing. When you receive an order, which we call an event, so the first process could be is you have to check the customer status, which means that whether we need to know whether customer is having a good credit score. Then you verify customer credit, and then finally you can enter customer order data, which will end result will be a complete sales order. So this will give you how exactly a particular operations happen, particular function or business operation. At the same time, we discuss there are various business functions nowadays. We have different departments in large organization. We have IT department, we have a HR department, we have accounting, we have marketing, we have sales. Uh, in our case, we don't say production, but basically we produce IT graduates, at least at our faculty, right? Although we say production, but the techniques that we use is like we conduct lectures, have labs, other activities which you mold it. And you can see these will be in different levels. So, and some of these operations comes under operational employees, supervisors, middle management, top managers, and so on. For example, vice chancellor in our university is one of the top managers. For example, operational employees could be the lecturers, or even it could be sometimes the students as well. Right. Now, the next thing that you need to know is different users need different information. For example, vice chancellor might want to know about the total number of students registered in degrees in the university. Whereas for me, as a dean of the faculty, I would like to know like how many students are currently enrolled in my faculty. If you go to lecturer level, for example, let's say right now I'm teaching business analysis and design course, I might interest in the number of students registered for this mod course. And as a student, you might need different information. So likewise, you can see different users need different information. So top management, usually they are the ones who make decisions how particular company moving forward, which we call the strategical plans. So they have to come up with, or they have developed these long-term plans, what we call it, which will meet companies' overall mission and goals. So they can use IT to company's course and the direction. Then you have middle management and knowledge workers. And these are the ones who, provide direction, providing resources, performing feedback, and then knowledge workers, they have various professionals, and they work as a supporting staff, right? So they can use business support system, knowledge management systems, and use a productivity system, right? So that's in when it comes to the next level. Then supervisors and team leaders, you have to look at oversee the operational employees. So when it comes to university environment, it's us, deans and HODs. Usually we take care of our lecture panels. And then we have operational employees, which means users who works in day-to-day transactions. And what I want to stress here is you need separate information requirement. Now let's look at some development tools which we can use. Now the modeling, you have already seen some business process modeling, simple graphics. So usually we use graphical representation of particular concepts or process. Why is this will be very easy to explain to somebody else. So sometimes the top managers might not have a very good understanding what is going on. So to express yourself with the top management, maybe you have to use some graphical representation, right? So as a business analysis, you have to create some models to represent different component like data, objects, networks, and other system components. The second one is what we call prototyping. Sometimes we create a small working version of information system. It's like early days when we develop a software, usually we complete everything and then only we show the final outcome to the user. Nowadays, it's slightly different, right? You start very small and then keep on continuing it. And that's what we call prototype. Then you have case tools, various system development tasks. CASE stands for Computer-Aided System Engineering or Computer-Aided Software Engineering. So you use different software case tools where the system analysis can develop and maintain information systems. Right. The next thing that we have discussed last time is about the system development approaches. Now, once you gathered all the requirements, you have to build a system. It's like, let's say we want to build a information system for a library. Now, when you want to build a software system for the library, there are various approaches where the software is developed. So in this part, we are going to look at that. So the first one we call the structured analysis, which is very traditional way of developing software. So in traditional way of developing software, usually we use something called system development lifecycle, SDLC. Usually you have several phases. And the assumption is each of these phases will finish and then you move to the next one. And that's what we see. So in structured analysis, especially the system development life cycle, it looks like this. There are 5 different stages starting from step planning, analysis, design, implementation, and system security and support. So each of these 5 stages, once you work, you should produce an outcome, which is kind of a report. So in the first phase, you will see there's a preliminary investigation. Second phase, you have system requirement document. Third, system design specification. Fourth, system implementation, which means you have a functioning system. And once you finish the system support and security, you will have a fully operation system. So this is how the traditional, development is structured. But then again, this after the structured analysis, the object-oriented came in because there are like object-oriented programming languages like Java was much popular, early days. So therefore, after structured analysis, object-oriented analysis came into picture, which means we look everything as objects and their interactions. So we talk about things like object, the properties, and the methods. And also you use messages. So simply what programmers do in object orientation, they create a code which creates the objects, right? And then you talk about how the objects are interact each other. So this is another graph which we are going to learn how to draw this, which shows you different objects. So for the time being, let me explain briefly. Let's say we have a person, and we are going to keep track of person's name, address, and date of birth. And then we are going to have two subclasses, which means like we create instructor and student, but we know that both of them are persons. So that's why I said it's a subclass. So under the instructor, you can notice that the same information you are going to keep in person is also, you can access it from here, or you can access it from the student side. Both ways are possible. But you can notice that the other properties, you might have different values. Some are common, some are not common. Right. Next is how you develop object orientation. Usually you will see an iterative process, not like in a flow chart. So flow chart go from one step to the last step without any changes. But when you want to build a prototype one phase at a time, which is now common today, you can see planning, analysis, and designing there, which will that develop the prototype, and that prototype we can use for testing. So this is how we select object-oriented model. The last one is a quite popular method nowadays, agile. There are many other methods, but in general we say agile. Agile is basically you build the system incrementally, and then you given focus mainly for the users. And usually the development takes place like a spiral model. You will have a series of iterations, revision, and then also you can get a user feedback. Right? And there are two things that I actually finished last time with this slide. So two agile techniques we can discuss. Scrum is one of the popular agile methodology to develop information systems. Each of the features in the system taken as product backlog, and then and use is going to prioritize what to implement first, and then you go to sprint planning, where you decide which backlogs you are going to implement within 2 to 4 weeks time. So then you can see in each and every day, they look at in the morning and the evening, they check the progress, which is again, some monitoring is there. Then the second one is extreme programming, like in previous, you can notice that how the timings were changed for each of these, right? This is also another method that we can discuss. Right. The next one is sometimes people or organization can decide whether they are going to design their own product or they are going to get something already available from other software suppliers. right? So this is again another technique that we can thought of. So and then different team-based strategies are also used, like joint application development JAD and the rapid application development RAD. So these are like two different development strategies which focuses on team-based fact finding, that is JAD, and then RAD is compressed version of the entire process. So those are the development strategies that I wanted to discuss. And the next is project management. Regardless of the development strategy, people, tasks, timelines, and costs must be managed effectively using the project management tools and techniques. Right. With that said, I think we are about to start our first group work. Let me first explain this. And then once I explain, I will put you into groups. You work on this about, let's say, half an hour, and then we'll meet and discuss, right, your findings. Now, the first task is you should understand an organization that you are going to work. So right now, since you are not working anywhere else, you might have to think about what organizations you are going to use. Could be a library, could be a hospital. Yeah, but I want you to be innovative, not just use school systems or the university system, which is, I think you have already heard about it, but choose some other organization. That's the first task. So once I put you into groups, I will ask like what organization you are going to think of developing information system. Then identify 3 key objectives. For example, in SLTC, one of the objectives is to provide you the research culture within the university. So that is one, right? Second one, we want to have the qualified lecturer panel for our students. So that is our second key objective. Third one, let's say we want to give you a real university experience. That's why it's spread across. We have about 30 to 40 acres of land, which we wanted to give you the university experience. So these are like some of the objectives. So likewise, identify 3 such objectives for the organization. That's part 1. Part 2, you identify 3 users because you know that there are different users are there. In the university environment, we have vice chancellors, deans, the lecturers, TAs, and so on. Right? So you need to identify 3 users. Then third one, identify 2 functionalities. For example, as a lecturer, right, I want to know the details about my students. So that is the functional requirement that I wanted to have. So identify 2 functionalities for each user. So now from the step 2, you identify 3 users. For each of the user, identify 2 functions. Fourth one, we discuss different categories of information system based on the information that you have gathered so far. Decide what kind of a information system you are going to build. Are you going to build enterprise, enterprise level software or transaction processing, or business support system, knowledge management system, or user productivity system? So decide on which type of software you need. Last one, you have to select the development strategy. Is it the traditional development? Are you going to use OOP or are you going to use Agile? So I want you to justify this. So take a screenshot of this because this is what you are going to use. And as a group, you should discuss, come up with a small 1 or 2 slides you can prepare together. I will give you I will enable sharing. So let me see where the sharing is. Okay, so I allow all the participants to share their screen. Now you should be able to. Okay, so let me put you into rooms. Today we have about 42. So we'll make it 14 groups then, so that you have 2 to 3 per group. Okay.
And identify the target market,
Okay.
develop and execute marketing campaigns, customer service representatives, identify customer issues and complaints, provides product support and solve customer inquiries.
Okay.
Based on
And the type of the information system you think which one comes under, or is it like I going to have everything?
type of, I couldn't understand, sir.
No, I mean, now we discuss about the fourth one. We wanted to know your opinion of classification
Yes.
of the information system.
Okay. Enterprises resource planning, ERP,
Hmm.
system integrate various departments and functions within a company onto a single platform.
Okay. I think the question is other way around. Like now to cater your requirements, what kind of an information system do you think you need? Do you need ERP or a TPS or BSS or KMS or UPS or like combination of these?
Okay.
That was the question. So I understand that you need to think and you can fine tune the answer. What is the development strategy?
Development strategies. I um, we used
Agile. Okay.
agile methodologies are iterative and incremental approach to software development
Mm-hmm.
and object-oriented analysis.
Okay. Okay, good. I mean, only the previous question, maybe you have to decide whether you need all the information system categories, because I think maybe one or two would be enough to cater your requirements. Other than that, it's good.
Okay, sir.
Can you tell me your registration numbers?
CIT
Last
20
last 3 digits is enough.
91.
91 and
91 and 212,
hmm.
212 and 42.
Okay. Thank you, group number 2.
Okay.
Okay, others, I don't have much time. So whatever you have developed, you can upload, and then I'll give you some time in next week. So and then let's finish for today, and I will put up a link in the LMS so that you can upload the documents that you have prepared. Thank you, everyone. We'll meet next week then.